Welcome to Breki with Belle, here to answer all your problems, salon issues and industry questions. Remember, all the questions that you send stay completely confidential and you remain absolutely anonymous. Welcome to the first ever episode of Breki with Belle. Now, firstly, I want to thank you all so much for all the questions received. And remember, you stay completely anonymous. Think of me like the Deirdre of the hair industry. So let's get cracking and let me share with you the first question, the first problem that I received. Now, what do you do if some of your team members, some of your staff keep coming to work looking messy? I would suggest three things here. So firstly, you need to put it in your contract. It's very, very important because after all, we are in the hair and beauty industry. How can we expect our clients to really trust in us if we're not looking our best? Secondly, I would suggest that you look at the individual staff member and see if they've got anything going on in their lives, any issues and anything as a boss that you could help them with. Thirdly, if the issue continues, I'd perhaps look at getting a salon uniform. That way you can keep consistency throughout, but definitely review your contract and make sure it's something in there from the beginning. Now, this one really was a good one, and I have to say it did make me giggle, but no offence with that. The message that I got was, I feel people's thoughts, I can feel people deeply. I get messages from dead people. Now, I ain't really qualified to answer that, babe, but I would suggest that you see a spiritualist. And after this, if you want to slide into my DMs on Instagram, I can recommend a few. I can only think that that would have its advantages anyway, because think about when your clients come for a consultation, you can actually tell whether they're going to be suitable or not for the appointment. So, the next question is about one of my favourite things, social media. Somebody messaged me saying, I'm trying to get my staff involved in social media, but it feels like they are digging their heels in. So as you all know, social media is my side hustle. So what I would suggest that you do is that you create a pack for all of your team members, listing the requirements of your company and what you need them to do in terms of social media. But team that up with a training night. I think it's really, really important to show your team how to take photos, how to get hair from a good angle, give them ideas on stories, maybe do salon takeovers. There's so much that you can do, but decide between you on the style that's going to suit your brand. And again, I would do monthly training nights. That's something that's really important because it's easy to forget. So if you want to, boss your social media and boss your stories, keep up the practice and keep on training your team. Now, the next question I received is from somebody that has a self-employed salon. Now, again, that's a subject that's quite close to my heart. What do you do if you try your hardest and your self-employed staff are just not motivated? I think it's a hard question, and I think what happens with any staff, and I think that's whether it's employed or self-employed, is people can just lose the mojo a little bit. They can get a little bit comfortable and they don't work the best that they can. I think that it's good to offer incentives, but I think it's good to offer incentives that might not necessarily be cash-based, but more education-based to keep them going. And hopefully, with lockdown, we've had a little bit of time to reflect. You've had time to reflect as a business owner and time to think, do you want these people in your business? And they've had some time to reflect that actually they love what they're doing and they realise why they're coming back to work. I've seen so many hairdressers on Facebook say that they've missed doing what they do. And sometimes people just need a little break to reflect and come back stronger than ever. Now, the next problem was pretty juicy. What do you do if you're rebranding your salon and one of the people that works there has worked there since the beginning of time and they no longer fit that brand? That is a tough one. But honey, we can't just ship them out. Now, this is a legal matter. So I would suggest that you go to the NHS and you seek some legal advice on this. I would probably say it's redundancy, but that could be expensive. But maybe if you're doing a rebrand, then maybe you can look at maybe starting a new contract. But like I said, it's best to check legal advice on this one and definitely go to the NHS. So the next question I got was, sometimes people make fun of the things that I wear and it's upsetting. What should I do? Well, babes, I'm feeling you. I'm 33 and I still get some hassle for some of my outfit choices. I put on my Instagram recently that it's important. If you don't fit in, you're probably doing something right. So I would do what you're doing regardless. Wear what you want to wear. Be who you want to be. And remember, there's one thing worse than being talked about, and that's not being talked about. So the next topic is bitchy ex-bosses. What do you do if you've got an ex boss that's bitching about you, that's slating you to clients, you know, that's dragging your name through the mud. It's a really tough one. And I would always say, if it gets really bad, seek advice from the NHF. However, in my personal experience, people only bitch and have nasty things to say because you're doing well for yourself or they're a little bit jealous. I would never let another person drag me down. Just keep doing what you're doing, keep putting the level of work out there that you're doing, and keep on shining. So the next question I got is, I'm getting a lot of anxiety in lockdown, what do I do? Now, I don't know personally what kind of anxiety that you're getting, but what I can suggest is, remember that this time is going to pass and things eventually will return back to normal. Make sure that you're definitely getting use of your hour exercise a day. And the things that I've done, I've been going out to the woods and stuff for my hours exercise, and I ordered a foraging book. So I've been going out and picking wild herbs and edible flowers. If you've got any hobbies that you might want to expand on, then I would suggest you get in the kitchen, you start cooking, you start baking, and just, if you are with family, try and enjoy this time that you've got, because although, you know, it is a pandemic, we have had a lot of time to reflect. Right then, my lovely lot, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the first segment of Breki with Belle on behalf of the hair show. I will be seeing you next week, so make sure you send me your questions, your problems and your salon issues. The juicier the better. It will remain completely confidential and you will remain absolutely anonymous. See you next week.